I don't think there's anything more American than this advert. Hey guys, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace. We're the Wandering Ravens.
We're a couple of Americans who have been traveling around the world for over 3 years, and we make videos about British culture on this YouTube channel.
If that's a topic that interests you, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the little bell icon so that you can get notified every time we release a new video.
Today we are doing a side-by-side comparison of British and American TV commercials, or as you guys call it in the UK, adverts. A frequent topic that you guys always talk about in our comment sections is the difference between American and British patriotism and how that's displayed. And the going theory we've had is that given that Americans are much more overtly patriotic than British people are, then we'll probably have much more patriotic adverts than the Brits will.
Today we're going to be putting that theory to the test by watching patriotic adverts from the USA and the UK and comparing them, analyzing them, talking about them with you guys.
Yeah, what will we learn about patriotism in the UK and the US by comparing our TV commercials? We're about to find out. To ensure that our research is thorough, well, at least as thorough as this kind of research can be, we're going to be watching adverts from a wide range of life, including military, drinks, vehicles, and more. And because this might be an intense topic,
oh yeah, patriotism.
I got my digestives to calm my digestive tract. I'm gonna say something potentially scandalous.
Oh no.
I like the taste of digestives dipped in coffee better than digestives dipped in tea. We're gonna start our journey with military adverts, because what's more patriotic than the military?
There are those who see the challenges facing the nation and say, send me. They fight for country. They fight for honor. They fight to win. Do you have what it takes? Find out at goarmy.com/warriors.
Ooh, that felt like a video game commercial.
It did feel like a video game commercial.
Where does confidence come from? How you look?
Hey little man, look at me. This could be you in just 6 weeks. Guarantee results fast. Get ripped with my workout plan. It's the case guarantee.
Quick hits?
Yes, brother.
Okay, this is a horrifyingly creepy ad. This is so scary.
Just a quick drink for the road, my man.
He's hallucinating or something.
Man, you feeling it? It's so good to see you.
Fast fashion?
What's up, my man? You already know what it is, and today we're busting some fresh heat. Take those dusty craps off your feet, man. No? Okay, this is the hottest drop of the year. Don't forget to subscribe.
Instant likes?
Don't forget to subscribe if he's a salesperson. I swear that's not.
Come on, mate. Nearly there.
Lots of things can give you confidence for a little while. But confidence that lasts a lifetime? There's one place you'll find that.
Commentary time. One thing right off that I see is that the British Army advert really emphasizes what you can get out of the Army. So you want confidence, right? So here's something that can give you real confidence. Join the Army, here's something we can do for you. It's selling itself, kind of like all those other people, fast fashion, protein supplements, whatever, working out. They're all selling things, and this is the Army saying, oh, those are all fake. We're gonna sell you real confidence.
Real confidence that'll last a lifetime.
Whereas the US Army advert seems to be, at least put more emphasis on the duty aspect.
Rather than emphasizing what you'll be getting out of the experience, is kind of emphasizing more what you can give.
Yeah, because they said, I think there was a line in there about who will answer the call, and then, will you say, send me? That's a big difference. I don't think you would see an ad quite like that British Army ad airing in the States.
Our advert airing in the States, if we dropped it into the UK, I don't think that would work either.
Yeah, maybe that.
Because it'd be very much
the other
like,
way around.
oh, this is your duty, it's your calling, it's your destiny sort of thing. And people would be like, nah.
So, from the start of our research, it seems that there is a big difference. In terms of patriotic, I think the American advert is a lot more patriotic in the sense that it's talking about a nation's call, your role in the nation, it's your duty. So in that sense, it's more overtly patriotic. Whereas the British Army advert, if there is patriotism there, it's very subtle. Next up, we're going to be watching 2 vehicle adverts. We're going to start with the British advert and then go right into the American advert after that, with commentary to follow.
Some of you may have noticed that for the past few years, Britain has been invaded by the Italians, the Germans, the Japanese, and the French. Now we have the means to fight back. The new Austin Metro. The new Metro is so aerodynamic that at a steady 50 miles per hour, the Metro HLE gets 62 miles per gallon. The new Metro has a split-action rear seat to let you choose between more space or more seats. And to help send the invaders back where they came from, the new Austin Metro goes 12,000 miles or 1 full year between services.
This is definitely a lot more patriotic than the last one.
I know, it is.
The new Austin Metro, a British car to beat.
Okay, that was way more patriotic
That
than the
was
last
so good.
ad.
That was so good. I loved all the bunting. Okay, now we're gonna go right into the American commercial. Straight off, what's more American than a flaming red coat? Jokes. Jokes.
I can't hear you. I don't think this happened. I don't think this is historically accurate.
This is very historically accurate.
What is this?
Here are a couple things America got right. Cars and freedom.
Because George Washington drove a Dodge Challenger.
Yes, he
for
did.
sure.
And I think he even has a flag with 50 states on it. Oh no, they did have the colonial flag. All right,
I was gonna say that would have been laughable.
See, I told you this was historically accurate.
Yeah, they got the right
they
flag.
had the right
at
flag. Okay, commentary.
Well, we learned one thing. Brits are more patriotic about their cars than they are about the army.
Yeah, the Austin Metro ad was much more overtly patriotic than I think I've ever seen a British ad be before. It had the bunting, the national anthem, and it even had that line at the end, what was it? A British car to beat the world, which, you know, seems very patriotic.
Very patriotic, yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing though, is that with that commercial, I want to know, Brits, was it entirely tongue-in-cheek? Was it the sort of thing where people watch it and like, oh, yes, this is kind of a patriotic commercial? Or was it more like, oh, this is just having a laugh? So, did we learn anything about patriotism?
I feel like this Dodge Challenger ad was Americans taking themselves way too seriously again. It's like a revolutionary battle with all the redcoats set up there, and then they're just like driving out there, and yeah, all of the Yanks want to see the British people like, ooh, and run away and forgetting how to walk or ride horses and just laying down in the grass and surrendering.
I don't think there's anything more American than this advert.
Yeah.
And this is a good example of how Americans still think of the revolution. Not
exactly like this. They actually think this happened.
I mean, in the sense that it's still very present in people's minds.
Yeah, that is true. We bring it up a lot.
Yeah. Next up, we got sports adverts. One sports advert from each country. We're gonna play these back to back and then have commentary afterwards.
What's your dream? To win championships? A scholarship?
This lady sounds familiar.
Do you want to be a bigger athlete?
Could be an actress
than
or
Serena
something.
Williams?
Yeah, she sounds like an actress.
Or do you want to be the first girl to play for the Yankees? Can you be the generation that ends gender inequality? Or will you show that champions in your sport can also look like you? Maybe your dream is to be the first 13-year-old to go pro. Or to push a sport to accept everyone just as they are. But the craziest dream of all is the one that starts a million more.
Just do it! Of course it's Nick. Next up we have British sports ad.
Oh. This guy weighs too much for his car?
Is he getting bigger?
Whoa!
Whoa!
He is! He's growing!
So it's maybe cricket or rugby or...
I think rugby. I feel like
oh,
I
rugby.
saw some
He has
that
a,
said rugby on it.
a rugby ball.
I don't understand the significance of them growing taller.
Yeah, there must be a connection with something.
Eyewitness reports are coming in from all over the country.
I feel like this is an even fight. It's not an even fight.
Okay. All right. Commentary.
I don't understand what that one's selling.
They're getting you to wear, apparently the rose would be a symbol for this rugby team. So they're telling people the more people that are wearing it, the stronger our players will be.
Oh, all right.
So make them into giants by wearing the rose. Well, that's actually pretty patriotic in the sense of it's calling you to take action.
As usual, I feel like the USA, the American one, was really kind of, emotional and kind of like that.
The British advert, or I don't know if this is England specific, I guess England rugby.
Yeah,
so maybe
well,
this
they
one might be
had
English.
a lot of Cross of St. George.
Yeah, English flags.
So.
Lots of English flags, English bunting. This one was a really beautiful ad. Very well animated, good story. And also, for a British advert, very feeling. On our last advert video, a lot of people pointed out the distinction between nostalgia and patriotism, and how we had kind of been confusing nostalgia for patriotism and things like the Hovis Land advert. But I don't think that's the case in this one. I think this one is actually patriotic.
Why do you think that?
I think because that there wasn't really any nostalgia, like there wasn't any calling back to history or things like that. It was all current, as well as it was all about the flags and even the symbol, the English rose, and calling people's duty. Like we have a duty together to wear the rose and make our team giants. So that was a lot more patriotic in that sense. And then in the Nike ad, you can see how in American adverts, I think patriotism is used subtly to sell products. Because in the States, patriotism does sell. So the entire ad isn't patriotic until the very end, and then they stick that USA, USA chant in, and then suddenly it turns it all into a patriotic ad. So
yeah, that is true. And it is very true also that patriotism sells in the States. If you want your product to sell better than all the rest, you just need to have a more patriotic ad than all the rest.
Yeah.
More current, more appealing.
So I think that's a really good example of that, how this is a Nike ad, doesn't really have anything to do with patriotism, but then they stick that chant in, and then all of a sudden you feel patriotic and you want to buy this product. Next up, we're tackling drink adverts. These are 2 adverts, one from the UK, one from the USA, about drinks and patriotism.
Morning, all. Morning. Brothers, sisters, today a great legacy rests upon your shoulders. Because here, we make more than just tea. We make proper brews. Brews that bring a tear to your eye and warmth to your soul. So go out there and do it for each other. Do it for yourselves, but most of all, do it for Yorkshire! Oh, and the fire drill's Thursday at 3.
First thing I appreciate about this ad is that this is the first time I've ever watched anything with Sean Bean in it, and he's lived till the end.
Americans, we're the creators of things born of an independent spirit, designers of the great, architects of the useful, composers of the loud, builders of the beautiful. We live in a country that lets people make things they believe in, and that's as American as, well.
Okay, commentary. We should do another one of these patriotic advert commercial videos, but turn it into a drinking game, and every time someone in an American advert references independence, freedom, or liberty, you take a shot.
Yeah. Oh man, you'd be blootered by the time that was done.
So, comparing the differences between these two, right off, the Yorkshire T1 is obviously much more funny.
Yeah, it's more humorous for sure.
Sean Bean is being extremely patriotic for Yorkshire, but at the same time, it's clear that he's kind of on the nose about it, and the music stops, and people give him awkward looks. Yeah.
Because he's being too earnest.
Too earnest.
He's being too earnest, and that's where the crickets come in.
But on the other hand, this Jack Daniels commercial is definitely tapping into a very American spirit. Just like I said about an earlier commercial, Americans watching this would probably really resonate with it and feel patriotic watching this. You know, feel the heart swell.
Yeah, because he's talking about things that Americans built or invented or created, and he does use the word, doesn't he say independent spirit or something like that? So that's something Americans would be like, yes, now I need to go out and buy me Jack Daniels.
And then even how the website at the end of the ad says jackindependence.com.
I did actually really enjoy this ad. I thought it was really cinematic and creative, and I liked the narrator's voice.
The narrator had a really good voice. Sean Bean is definitely the man. Oh, we're talking about different ads. No,
we are talking about different ads, but Sean Bean has a great voice too.
Now for some closing thoughts and cultural analysis. First off, it may seem like, there's some patriotic American ads, and it seems like there's some patriotic British ads as well. But I'm gonna stick a disclaimer in there and let you know that it was really hard for me to find these patriotic British ads. If you want to find a patriotic American ad, all you need to do is go to YouTube and type in brand name Patriotic Advert, and you'll find something. So, Jeep, Patriotic Advert, Jack Daniels, Patriotic Advert. But with British adverts, it's not really like that. So I actually had to rely on our subscribers to help supply these. Thank you so much to everyone who responded to our community post and suggested all these great patriotic British adverts. These were so much fun to watch and great for analysis as well. So with that in mind, understanding that British adverts like this are in the minority, what do you think are some of the things we learned today?
I would still say that Brits are a lot less overtly patriotic. I think all of the American patriotic ads had freedom, liberty, independence, or USA thrown in there somewhere.
Yeah, even the funny George Washington ad was still...
It was very
relying on
right there. Like you can't miss it. Whereas I feel like the UK ones, British ones, were a little bit more subtle, a little bit more cheeky. The only British one that seemed to be serious and not kind of aimed for humor was the rugby one, the Giants one.
Yeah, that was the only one where I didn't ever feel like laughing. It was more emotional. Yeah. which you said might be because it's sports. So you guys can let us know, when it comes to sports, does that kind of give British people an excuse to be emotionally patriotic in the way that Americans are? I wonder.
Yeah, I kind of feel like sports is a more acceptable reason in some countries. In some countries where patriotism isn't as overtly shown, I think that sports tend to be a more acceptable reason to show your patriotism.
Another thing I think we can take from this is that displays of patriotism is more acceptable in the United States than in the UK, because all of these American adverts are very emotional, very patriotic, without being tongue-in-cheek. Like, they actually mean it when they're being that way.
Yeah.
Whereas the British ones, it's tongue-in-cheek patriotism, more like the Sean Bean, do it for Yorkshire, but you know, it's awkward and everyone's like, oh, what's he doing? I'm sure there's British people who are much more patriotic than others, but overall, I do believe that Americans, again, overall, are much more patriotic in their displays of patriotism and also in their patriotic beliefs than the average Brit is.
Definitely, I still think that the patriotism between the two is not really exactly comparable. It's definitely different between the UK and USA. And those who disagree, fight me.
Now we're going to turn this conversation over to you. What did you learn by watching this side-by-side comparison of UK and US adverts? Did you agree with our observations? Did you disagree? Drop your comments down below. As always, seeing what you have to say about this topic is what we look forward to the most.
And if you enjoy our content, consider joining our Patreon.
Do it for bloopers!
Do it for the behind-the-scenes footage!
Do it for Horton!
That felt ridiculous.
Well, that's as patriotic as we'll get today.
Yes. Wait, we have to say do it for Horton with our hands on our hearts.
Do it for Horton!
For Horton!
Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace.
We're the Wandering Ravens.
We have a goal of hitting 15,000 subscribers on this channel by the time June rolls around, so if you want to help us meet that goal, make sure you subscribe.
Hey guys, we're just gonna interrupt your video real quick here. We decided that we wanted to try doing something new, and that is introducing you to some of the comments from the previous video that really stood out to us. For example, on our last video, which was Americans React to British Adverts, we got a number of comments that made the distinction that where American adverts tend to be overtly patriotic, British adverts like the Hovis Go On Lad aren't necessarily patriotic, but nostalgic. So let's read out some of these. So the first comment comes from Lee, and Lee said, "Great video, thanks for making." You're welcome, Lee, we appreciate you. The historic adverts are more nostalgic than patriotic. For example, the miners' strike was not a proud moment in British history in terms of their treatment. So that would be in the Hovis ad that we featured.
Yes, the Go On Lad one. And then we have another great comment from Andy Baker, and Andy Baker says, "I would say the Hovis ad is more nostalgic than patriotic. It's just referencing certain historic events to represent the timeline of Hovis's existence."
Making that distinction hadn't occurred to us before, so thank you so much to everyone who helped us see it that way. That was very educational.
Thank you also to everyone who answered our irn-bru pronunciation question. One of the commenters who answered that for us was Trucker Yano, and Trucker Yano says, "It is pronounced irn-bru, soft drink that outsells Coca-Cola in Scotland, cause it's Scottish. Scottish patriotism at its finest."
Hey, so I'm sorry for horribly mispronouncing irn-bru in the video.
That is, embarrassing.
We live and learn. Thank you so much to everyone who took the time to comment on our last video. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you guys next time. Bisous!